Hello again. I get awfully irritated sometimes when people try to make me feel guilty about using a plastic carrier bag at the supermarket. The idea being that people using such bags are just creating more unrecyclable rubbish, which will end up in landfill sites or contaminating the ocean. And that will mean digging up the countryside and burying all that waste where it will remain in the earth forever. Shocking. I can't help wondering if anybody has ever stopped to think what is going to happen to all those windmills which are being built in Britain right now, of which, by the way, there are currently more than 11,000, some built on the land and some at sea. Just to consider one aspect of the matter, does anybody watching this know what the blades of those turbines are made of and what will happen to them? Of course not. Why would we? A 400-foot wind turbine near Hull in the north of England caught fire today, sending up clouds of black smoke. Well, this should give us a clue about the awful situation facing us in a few years, but I doubt anybody will take any notice. So keen are we to reach net zero and prevent global warming by closing down all our power stations. The reason that the blades of the wind turbine near Hull caught fire today was that they are essentially made of plastic. That is to say, they are fiberglass, strands of glass coated with plastic. Here is the nature of the environmental disaster which we are facing because of the mad desire to build more and more windmills. Each turbine has 3 blades. These weigh 12 tons each and are roughly 50 yards long. They cannot be recycled because the plastic and glass are all mixed together, and the only way of disposing of them when the wind turbine is decommissioned is to saw them up and bury them in the ground in gigantic landfill sites. They will never decompose, and they'll remain as they are now for thousands of years. Wind turbines have an estimated life of about 20 years before they have to be dismantled. That means that even if we did not build any more ever, in 20 years' time we will have 11,000 of the things to take to pieces and dispose of. Now, if each of them has 3 blades, that's 33,000 blades, each weighing 12 tons. A total of 396,000 tonnes of plastic mixed with glass to bury in our countryside. I think that's what they call an environmental disaster. It makes the flimsy plastic carrier bags which we get from the supermarket and everybody makes such a fuss about look pretty insignificant, doesn't it? What about the concrete foundations upon which the turbines are erected? How do we dispose of them? The answer is, we don't. It's impossible. Every cubic metre of concrete has 100 kilograms of steel embedded in it. All that can be done is to bulldoze earth over those foundations and leave them where they are. Has anybody asked about the long-term effect to the environment of thousands of cubic metres of concrete just being left buried all over the countryside or at the bottom of the sea? And has anybody asked whether mining all the minerals needed to produce the cement for that concrete is any kinder to the environment than coal mining or drilling for oil? Anybody know where those mines are? The fire near Hull should be a wake-up call to us that we are on a terrible course of action. Our electricity bills are soaring astronomically, driven by a crazy desire to save the natural world by ditching fossil fuels. The truth is, not only are we making our electricity horribly expensive, we're also making long-term effects which will cause a terrible disaster in the country by burying hundreds of thousands of tons of concrete and plastic all over the countryside for centuries to come. That doesn't sound very green, does it? As usual, I give links about all this in the description to this video.